What up guys, Shin here from Brave Geek Studios, and I'm going to be talking about something I don't normally talk about, anime. I'm going to be doing more anime videos on this channel because, I feel like that's something I also enjoy doing, and it's also kind of a geeky thing, so I'm probably going to be doing more anime stuff. I know I'm wearing a Marvel hat right now. I don't really have any anime merch to flex except for action figures and a poster, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, today I'm going to be talking about a new anime that's kind of been around since 2017 as a manga, I think, Tokyo Revengers. And essentially, Tokyo Revengers is about this guy named Takamichi, who is this typical guy who realizes that his whole life he's been running away, and he's just kind of living a terrible life right now. And one day he finds out that his ex-girlfriend died in a car crash with her brother. So one day he's in a railroad station, and somebody pushes him off, and he essentially gets run over by the train, but he realizes that the next moment he is his middle school self again. So he essentially traveled back in time, and you get to see what his life was when he was in middle school. And I keep waving my hand, I'm sorry, that's the kind of something I've gotten used to. But yeah, essentially, he goes back in time, and he realizes that all of the all of his friends are back, and he used to be a tough guy in back in middle school, and his friends was kind of middle school gang, and they get beat up one day. And that was where the whole story started, of them kind of like being gang members and all that stuff. And that's pretty much where the story goes. And the interesting thing is, it's not like a wake up in another reality type of scenario. I forgot the genre was. Apparently, that's a genre in anime, because I'm still kind of a noob. But yeah, it's kind of like a new, like a fresh start, where he like the day that he travels back in time. He travels back exactly 14 days in the past. So once that day passes in present time or future time, in this case, so confusing. Time travel is so confusing. Another day passes in the past, so he can't. He has to kind of keep that in mind when he goes back in time. And essentially, he realizes that girlfriend is still alive in this timeline, and he befriends her brother. And her brother is kind of like this sci-fi enthusiast, and he doesn't like his dad too much because his dad's a cop. But Takamichi kind of makes a stand and realizes that, hey, if this is real, sorry, motorcycle, but hey, if this is real, and I actually did go back in time, I want to at least grab that chance to see if there's something I can do to change it and save Hina from dying. And he realizes that that brother was also there. He also died with her in that car accident. So, he shakes hands with him, and out of nowhere, they all go back to the present. And it turns out that that guy is now alive in this new timeline, and they go on this whole mission to save Hina from dying at the hands of the gang that they're a part of, or like a rival gang or something like that. It's called the Tokyo Manji Gang, and essentially, that's where the whole story is centralized in. And this is me just pretty much discussing the whole story from episode 1 to episode 6, I think, because I'm too lazy to do individual videos. So that's pretty much episode 1. Episode 2, I totally forgot, but I'm just gonna jumble it up. So the story continues with him, them figuring out that the key to going back in time is actually their handshake, and we still have no idea what causes this time travel scenario. But he's been using it to his advantage, and he went back in time because he realized that the key to stopping the Tokyo Manji gang is to prevent these two characters from meeting. The leader of the Tokyo Manji gang, which is his name was I think the guy was, but yeah, he's the leader of the Tokyo Manji gang. There's two people he has to prevent to meet. And he goes back in time and realizes that, he actually, because of some interesting turn of events, where he sacrifices himself by fighting this big dude in order to save his frail friend from fighting. He gets beaten up really bad, but then the leader of the whole gang, which is the guy he's supposed to prevent from meeting someone else, ends up coming in and then beating the crap out of the guy who beat him up. And essentially, he befriends that guy. So he befriends the leader. And then at first he's mad at them, but he realizes that these guys are actually not bad people. And you know, these guys are actually, they're trying to make delinquents like a more of a positive word, rather than like, you know, the denotation that everybody believes it is. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. He goes back to the future, and then he meets up with one of his very close friends, the leader of his clique, pretty much, you know, the clique that he went back in time, and you know, middle school gang, and that clique. His name was Akun, and Akun is essentially like the leader, like I said. And one day he asked him, he was like, oh, even if, you know, wherever life takes us and stuff, are we still gonna be friends? And he said, yeah, nothing's gonna change. And he goes back to the future to find out that that friend, who was kind of like this more kind of like clean guy, in the future he runs his own brothel, and he is essentially a member of the gang, the Tokyo Manji gang. And there's this guy that he's afraid of, but I'll get to that later. Essentially, he was the one who pushed him off the rails that day. So that was one twist that really got to me. And it turns out that the brother who died in the original timeline saved him. So in some ways, in the original timeline, nobody saved him, so he actually died. But he went back in time to save the guy, and we saved Hina's brother, go back to the present to save him. Or maybe he was always going to save him because he already went back in time in that timeline. Yeah, time travel is so confusing. But yeah, as I was saying, pretty much the end of like that arc, I mean the whole thing, the dude ends up jumping off a building. And at that point now, Takemichi has two people to save, Akun and Hina. And essentially, you know, he goes back in time with the mission of when he realizes, oh yeah, he learned from his friend, from Akun, the one who jumped off the building, that essentially something also happened in the past that kind of caused this shift in the Tokyo Manji gang from being kind of like these honorable people to these despicable people, and the same people that killed Hina. So he goes back in time and realizes he has to stop this rift from occurring, because one of the two members that he befriended, Drakun, and the other guy is the main leader. They're really close friends, and he's the reason why he is like kind of like in check. But apparently in the past something happens where they split apart, and Drakun gets killed, and this guy becomes like this like ruthless guy. And that's pretty much where we left off now. So we're in an arc where he has to kind of figure out everything that's going on. And yeah, that's kind of like a summary. Now let me share my thoughts. I think it's a fresh new thing, combining drama, suspense, and you know, the gang aspects and time travel aspects. And I think that it really does a good job of kind of combining these tropes into like one coherent story. And I think that so far I haven't found anything that is like bad about it yet. The story so far is pretty like, it has me hooked. It's not my favorite thing to watch right now, but like I really want to see where the story goes, and I do care about the characters a lot. Everyone's saying that this is gonna be the next big thing, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm really new to the anime community, but overall, so far in these couple of episodes have got me hooked. And from now on, I'm probably going to be doing a video every time a new episode is released. And same thing with a couple of other shows I'm watching as well. So yeah, I think it's good. Excited to see where it continues. And hopefully everything is well. I really need to put a spoiler warning at the beginning of this video. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.